Well, we interviewed these guys at Wadapalooza and we blew them up there, and we're going to blow them up again because, in my personal opinion, I never kiss ass. It's not my thing. But these are some of the best coaches in all of CrossFit. Ladies and gentlemen, the MisFits. Gentlemen,
what's going on?
From Wadapalooza to the games only a few months later, how many athletes you guys have here?
We have 4 teams, 3 masters, a team, and 3 individuals.
All right. So that's not, I mean, we're not blowing wind up their ass. These guys are producing some of the best talent in the game today. All right, so from your professional opinion, I mean, you guys see a lot of athletes, you guys train a lot of athletes. Frazier, 2016. Froning, 2014.
Who would win?
Who would win? Good question.
Well, if they're going head-to-head today in these events, it's Matt. So
really,
yeah, the Froning of 2 years ago. Now, if we're talking Froning of today versus Frazier of today, we have an actual battle here.
Yeah.
But I think the sport has progressed, and the athletes, no matter kind of what level you're at, progressing with the speed of the sport at this level.
Yeah.
So I would say, as it sits now, you'd have a battle between the two. 2014 Froning would not stand a chance against 2016 Frazier. It wouldn't be close.
Yeah.
And I actually think there's probably a handful in the top 10 that would be 2014 Froning right now.
Yeah.
So, but 2016 Froning is probably as legit as all those guys, even though he's a team athlete now. He's still probably one of 2 of the best in the world.
I don't think, I mean, you guys could let me know if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's slowed down his training whatsoever, despite the fact that he's now a team athlete.
I don't doubt it. Just slow down whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think really that you just said, hey, I want a little less pressure on myself. I want to be able to do some other things, maybe with the family and whatnot.
Yeah.
But as far as training, I doubt it's that much different. Really,
If the stress is lower, in theory, he'd be better now.
So,
If he trained the same way and he was less stressed out.
So, I mean, where do you guys, I mean, as coaches, where do you guys see the sport going? Because it's getting to the point where, like, I didn't even believe the weights when I saw them, what they said they were doing for, like, even the deadlift. And I'm like, it's freakish at this point, you know?
We have something coming up next week on our site. It's going to be a retest of all the games workout. It's kind of a deload week.
Yeah.
And 3 years ago, top 1% can do it. Now we have competitors all over the world, top 100, top 200 in each region that can do these workouts. So it's crazy how far it's going. So
since we were all together at Wadapalooza, I came to the camp, the MisFit camp out in Jersey, which you guys have them all over the place, right? When's the next one?
Seattle, Washington, August 29th. Somewhere around there. MisFitGear.com, click events, you'll find them there.
Check it out because
CrossFit Clue in the fall, and then back to Houston in December.
I'll be there. And I think it's incredible because I was there, and I like to think I'm somewhat decent of an athlete, or I can hang with the pretty good people. And I'm working out with the girls and just getting crushed just because they're more fun to work out with. But I couldn't believe, like, you guys have such a tight-knit community and you have so many great athletes, and the level of athlete you guys have and the respect they have for the brand, it's an unbelievable thing. How do you think you started that? Like, what was the recipe for success there?
Well, I think at one point we thought that we had all the answers for like coaching and programming. So I think like within ourselves, we're like, oh, we have this figured out. We know how to build athletes. And on the side, the community that you're talking about is being built. And I don't think what we anticipated or realized fully until maybe the last year or so is that the community and the sort of the culture of what we've grown has been as important as the workouts themselves. So like the competitive nature of people who want to call themselves a misfit, and they want to talk shit, and they want to have fun, and they want to throw down all the time, that has built sort of the Travis Williams style of athlete where he's willing to just go headfirst into a wall and see what happens. And the best of the best that can train like that with some, structure and some intention and stuff, because he looks like a crazy person, but he's actually pretty smart and does things, a specific way. But the more that you can kind of throw yourself into something 100% and believe in something like the community that we've built, the easier it is for you to throw yourself into your training each and every day. So yeah, the program's great. We spend a ton of time coming up with, all the variations of what we're trying to do for the complete program. But as important as that is the fact that somebody can jump into MisFit and start talking to athletes all around the world and locally, depending on where you are, and really having some competition day one, someone that you want to chase down. Training partners and that whole aspect are just so hugely important at the highest level. It keeps you motivated and focused, and without that, I don't think we'd be where we are. So I think that is hand in hand with the amount of work we put into programming and things like that.
I don't think you guys give yourselves enough credit for what you've done marketing-wise, too. It's like the other day, like I said, I was wearing a MisFit t-shirt when I went to Guns N' Roses concert, and somebody's like, yo, MisFit. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's crazy.
And I just had the big M on my shirt,
Yeah.
you know? So it's like, unless you're in that community, but you've grown exponentially over the last year. And like now people like who, you know, randomly see the M in the street, it's like, it's a brand now.
Yeah, I mean, just last night we were at dinner with a bunch of influential people in our community, in the CrossFit community,
Yeah.
and several times they commented, wow, you guys have built a really great brand with MisFits. Like, I think half was by accident, but now that we know what we're doing,
Yeah.
like, okay, we'll capitalize on our kind of like great mistakes or just the organic, like, this is what we want to do, and it became what it is because of what we put into it without really having that brand goal as being the end game.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like maybe, and you can answer this, I feel like 3-4 years ago, everybody was like, if you wanted to do top competitor training, you did Invictus or you did Outlaw. Now I feel like you guys have taken over as the leaders of the, you know, high level athlete training.
I think we're maybe still a little bit more accessible than they are because of our size and because we enjoy going out into the community so much and being a part of it, that we make a personal connection with a lot of people. I think that's really big to our growth. You know, Seth already said it, but the community aspect, what they've built, like we have people who are legitimate best friends. They've never met each other.
Yeah.
They text all the time. And I mean, you remember your CrossFit journey, just kind of that beginning where you didn't know what the heck was going on, but then you had that person next to you, and
Who kind of took you under their
it
wing.
just changed
Yeah.
everything. These guys have done this on their own through the internet, and now there's thousands of them, and they're all part of this like family. And I mean, we set out to write some programming and do some coaching, and they kind of took it and ran with it.
The passion just kind of shined through. Like, we were really serious about what we wanted to do, and I think we got lucky with the first like wave that started following, and their passion was there too. It kind of felt ours, and then it just been passed on. It's just like paying it forward, so to speak.
Yeah. So you guys have a couple masters athletes. You got a couple females, couple males, couple teams. You know, who do you see going the furthest out of who you have?
Wait, out of our athletes?
Yeah.
Forever or this year?
No. This year.
Oh, Travis Williams. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's sitting like 16th right now.
Yeah.
His best events are yet to come. He's got a legitimate chance of cracking that top 10 in his second time at the games. His potential is still nowhere near being met.
The guy works out like a freak.
Oh, he does, and he's not afraid of
Yeah.
the pain and afraid of failing and things like that. So he'll go in deeper than most of them. It's a huge mental game.
You know who I love watching over the past couple of days? I've just been checking it out on the internet and stuff. But the older guys, you know, the Masters division, and my man, I love Swiss Stack.
Oh yeah.
You know, I never pronounce his name right, but he's the man, and I worked out with him at the MisFit camp.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this dude's 40-some odd years old, and he's crushing it. And like picking up, and you know, I was trying to convince my dad to get into CrossFit. He's 65. He's like, I can't do it, blah blah. But I'm like, guys like that make me think I could do it long into the future. So how do you handle an athlete, or you know, even somebody who's coming into the CrossFit world or coming into the fitness world, who's like, I don't think I need to be that. How do you sway them into kind of picking up weights and trying something different?
I mean, for us, it's just about, you know, health and lifestyle first, and then from there, like the Masters athlete, you just think about taking care of yourself and longevity. Like, you want to be able to get out of the chair when you're 60 or 70. So, you know, parents are a perfect example. Like, get them in the gym, get them moving around, and now their life's different. So, you know, for our Masters athletes, I mean, they're the upper tier of the sport. I mean, you see the showcase they are here. You have Masters
picking up stupid amounts of weight.
You know, the Masters picking up 300 pound cleans 5 years ago. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
It's like 200 pounds is quick and impressive. So, I mean, I think first and foremost, just getting to realize that like this is for their health first, and then the Masters athletes being able to just crush weights in and out and be able to move their body like well into the years where they're supposed to be like sitting in a nursing home is just unbelievable.
So a little bit of a groupie question. Now we all come out here always hoping to meet somebody. We're all fans of the sport, but there's always somebody you want to meet, somebody you want to rub elbows with, maybe have a cocktail with later on. Who would you like to meet that you haven't met through the?
I was going to say
yet?
Kenny Stantucci, but you said
Done.
I haven't met. Oh man, that's a great question. You're gonna have to give me a minute.
Okay.
I don't know about an athlete, but I'd like to talk to Glassman. That'd be the person I'd have to talk to, honestly.
Right?
Yeah.
Just to pick at his brain a
To
little
hear
bit.
him talk for a little
Yeah.
bit. I mean, a guy's super entertaining to listen to whenever he's on, like, 60 Minutes or something in the morning, the morning show. I watch that just because I like to see what he has to say about stuff.
I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, Glassman's 100% my answer, but one of the reasons I like going to so many events is because I like the ability to just open myself up and sit down at a table with a bunch of people and see who I meet. So, like, I've already met 24 people that are pretty influential in our community or have great affiliates or whatever, and I've already got to talk to a bunch of them. So I don't really like make a plan for who I want to meet. I'm just like, hey, let's see what happens. Like walk around and start talking and see who I run into. And I've made some incredible contacts that way. So yeah, just anybody. But if I had to sit down, I'd like to sit with Glassman for about 10 hours.
And just like pick his brain a little bit.
Seriously.
So I'm fascinated by the more all of the athletes get to such a high level, I'm fascinated with the mental side. And from what I hear, Sarah is as tough as it gets, as dedicated as it gets, as hard at working as it gets. And I like to be around that just to kind of take it in and see what kind of character traits are there. Because then that's something that's not necessarily teachable in the short term, but really being able to talk to your athletes about it and say, hey, you guys are all amazing athletes, but she does this outside of the gym, completely outside of the gym. What's her personality like? All that stuff.
I think last year I got a chance to chat, or actually at Wadapalooza I had a chance to chat with her, and she's got such a mindset, like a primal mindset. It's like she doesn't think of it like, oh, I need to do this. It's just like I do, period, the end. And it's impressive. So if you get a chance to chat with her, we're going to try to get her in here for a little bit. But let's go a little controversial, and then we'll end on this topic.
Love controversy.
Okay? We'll end on this topic. Giving out Glocks as a prize during the state of what the country's in now. Now, listen, for me, I don't like to give my political views. I don't really give a shit either way. It's like, I'd say 90% of the top athletes in the sport of CrossFit probably own guns already.
Yeah.
So I didn't see it as a big deal, but everybody's up in arms. I want the opinions of gentlemen.
Remember that we're Maine boys, right?
Yeah.
Up in Maine, the backwoods of Maine, everyone has...
You need to have a gun.
There's more guns than people by a long shot in Maine. I have a background in law enforcement. I like shooting guns.
Yeah.
I'm responsible with my guns. Like, if the other people just that get them, take that one step to just be responsible with their guns, great. If someone gets them and then mishandles it, yeah, that can be a problem. But that's personal responsibility, just like anything that you do. Driving a car is
the same thing.
I'm not one of those people that's willing to blame violence on the existence of guns. It's people's actions, and that goes with anything. I mean, you can pick any topic you want that's a hot, the hot topic in the country, whether it's drugs or whatever it is. Like, don't blame them. Blame someone's actions and hold them accountable for their choices and whatever it is. So guns are no different. I like guns. I have no problem with them.
I feel the same way. I really don't care about the political issues that are going on with the guns. I think it's just part of CrossFit's identity. They're always kind of edgy, and they're something different than the norm. So, I mean, I personally don't see an issue with it. I think that everyone here that's going to could win a gun is of age, a responsible adult, and decide either to keep it or not, give it away. That's what the issue is.
The prize part of it doesn't bother me. It's a case with a gun in it. You don't want it. You don't have to take it. You don't have to use it.
It's just a voucher.
Blah, blah,
you
blah.
can cash in or not cash it in.
Right. So people that have guns that don't know how to use them, that bothers me.
Yeah.
So the prize, no, that doesn't bother me at all. But I mean, anytime you do something like this, you create another avenue for conversation. And if intelligent people can actually step up to the plate and say things like learn how to use your gun and maybe do some screening, doesn't bother me at all.
I was out in Palm Springs maybe 3 months ago, and I met this older gentleman, and he was telling me about how many businesses he has, and I was like, man, that's a lot of business to run. And he's like, there's no such thing as a bad business. There's bad people and bad management. And I think you guys run one hell of a business. You guys are doing a great job. And I think the same thing about the guns. It's like, it's not bad guns. I mean, every gun works the same way. There's bad people and there's bad intentions with them. So I mean, I think we're all on the same page with that. I think you guys are doing an awesome job as far as what you guys are doing. You're producing some of the best athletes. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Do we want to plug some of the upcoming training camps?
Last weekend of August is in Seattle. We have New Jersey at CrossFit Clue, the big playground for CrossFitters.
Yeah.
That's in October, and December is CrossFit Edo, which is another gigantic playground gym in Houston, Texas. Check it out on MisFitGear.com.
Gentlemen, as always, and I forgot to mention, this guy's missing some of his hair. What the hell happened?
Had to happen.
And he grew it on his face.
Yeah, I took it. I glued it.